you're all having too much fun out there. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you all, but we're going to start our service. So welcome to Unity of Greater Hartford. My name is Reverend Christine Boylan, and it is wonderful to see all of you here this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. There we go. Eyes up front. There we go. So today we are recording on Facebook, and we hope that either you have found us here this morning or you will find us here later on in the week. But thank you for being with us today, whether it's in person or online. And of course, it's great to be back in our church building. And of course, since construction has not yet started, it's pretty obvious if you walk through those doors. You can still use the restrooms, the indoor restrooms today. Yes. Nevertheless, our conference stations outside are open and ready for business. All right. But we do have some good news today. And the good news is that starting tomorrow morning, we begin the rebuilding process. Yes. We have hired a contractor who starts tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. With the expectation that all will be completed by the end of July. So, yeah, so as we go along, we'll keep you up to date with the rebuilding. And yes, it's terribly exciting, except for this one little thing that was going to happen. Right? Those two doors, they're going to be closed and sealed off. Yeah, I know, you get the repercussions, right? So those comfort stations, they're going to become really important.
They're very nice.
They are very nice. And we have people cleaning them. So don't let that stop you from showing up. They're very nice and accommodating, but we will not, partly is they want to make sure that no one goes into the building because they'll be in different stages of construction. You want to make sure everybody's safe. And the other thing is it's going to be a lot of, construction debris and dust. So those will be closed and then sealed with plastic. So none of that enters here. All right. So for that, we will be grateful. Yes. And one more news item. Our office manager, Tony, is on vacation this week. So please respect her time off and send any questions you have, any communications to me at revchris@unityhartford.org. All right. Now, when you arrived, you should have been handed a June bulletin as well as 2 song sheets. So I hope you have both of them. And just a reminder that you can help us in recycling these bulletins and songs by leaving the papers on the greeters table that you passed when you came in. Now, let's go and get that in front of us, our bulletin. And on that is our welcome affirmation. So let's say that together. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And of course, here at Unity, we welcome, value, and include all people. And as you know, our 2023 theme is Flying in Faith. And every month we introduce a new affirmation that we invite you to use in your daily time of prayer. Our June affirmation, which is on your bulletin and on our website, is Flying in Faith. I am aware of the Christ within that fills me with divine creativity as I lovingly envision the very best in me and in my world. And as we prepare for our opening prayer, I'm going to ask our worship assistant, Catherine, to please come and light our Christ candle as a reminder to all of us that Christ's light always shines within us. And so I'm doing something a little bit different this morning. Why not, right? As you probably know, June is National Pride Month, celebrating the accomplishments and contribution of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer communities, and it commemorates the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan, which was a tipping point in the gay liberation movement in the United States. So in honor of National Pride Month, our opening prayer is going to be a poem by American poet and teacher Richard Blanco. He recited this poem called One Today at President Obama's second inauguration in 2013. He is the first immigrant, the first Latino, and the first openly gay person to be the U.S. poet for a presidential inauguration. So I invite you, let's hold this as a prayer, right? And just relax into a prayerful state of consciousness and simply listen. If you want to close your eyes, that's fine too. One today. One sun rose on us today, kindled over our shores, peeking over the Smokies, greeting the faces of the Great Lakes, spreading a simple truth across the Great Plains, then charging across the Rockies. One light, waking up rooftops, under each one a story told by our silent gestures, moving behind windows. My face, your face, millions of faces in morning's mirrors, each one yawning to life, crescendoing into our day. Pencil yellow school buses, the rhythm of traffic lights, fruit stands, apples, limes, oranges, arrayed like rainbows, begging our praise. Silver trucks heavy with oil or paper, bricks or milk, teeming over highways alongside us, on our way to clean tables, red ledgers, or saved lives. To teach geometry or rig up groceries, as my mother did for 20 years so I could write this poem. All of us as vital as the one light we move through, the same light on blackboards with lessons for the day, equations to solve, history to question, or atoms imagined. The I have a dream, we keep dreaming. Or the impossible vocabulary of sorrow that won't explain the empty nest of 20 children marked absent today and forever. Many prayers, but one light, breathing color into stained glass windows, life into the faces of bronze statues, warmth onto the steps of our museums and park benches as mothers watch children slide into the day. One ground, our ground, rooting us to every stalk of corn, every head of wheat sown by sweat and hands gleaning coal or planting windmills in deserts and hilltops that keep us warm, hands digging trenches, routing pipes and cables, hands as worn as my father's, cutting sugarcane so my brother and I could have books and shoes. Here, squeaky playground swings, trains whistling, or whispers across cafe tables. Here, the doors we open for each other all day, saying hello, shalom, buongiorno, howdy, namaste, buenos dias, in the language my mother taught me, in every language spoken into one wind, carrying our lives without prejudice, as these words break from my lips. One sky, toward which we sometimes lift our eyes, tired from work, some days giving thanks for a love that loves you back, sometimes praising a mother who knew how to give, or forgiving a father who couldn't give what you wanted. We head home through the glass of rain or weight of snow or the plum blush of dusk, but always home. Always under one sky, our sky, and always one moon, like a silent drum tapping on every rooftop and every window of one country. All of us facing the stars, hope, a new constellation waiting for us to map it, waiting for us to name it together. One today. Let's just take that into a moment of silence and embrace that truth that indeed we are all one. and we breathe one breath. We breathe one together. One light in the world. Today we say thank you. Thank you for this truth that we know, this truth that we embrace, that we truly are all one, and all the divine beloved of this infinite process we call God. So with hearts full of gratitude, we say thank you, sweet Spirit, and so it is.
So it is.
Amen. Amen. And now I'm going to welcome our choir to come up and have Carolyn lead us in song. Welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, good morning. On this beautiful Sunday, as our choir takes their places, you can find your pieces of paper with the lyrics for this morning's opening songs. And we ask that you stand as you are able, and we'll join in creating some music this morning, starting with This Little Light of Mine. When I go
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all. What a beautiful prayer poem for an opener. Thank you for that. So my name is Catherine Ewing, and I am your worship assistant today. And here's what's happening in our church. So for the last couple of Sundays, I'm sure you remember, Reverend Christine has asked people to take photos of the building, of the people, of the space, and to send them to her, as many of you already have. So thank you for that. We're building a little library, put it in our little time capsule for some time in the future. Are we all? We're all good? Okay. So if you want to see them, you can follow the link in the email newsletter that you've received, or you can also see them through the photo page on the website. Since this is the last Sunday, as Reverend Christine already said, before everything will be closed up and construction will start, please, if you haven't taken pictures or you want to take a few more, please make sure and do that today before we leave. And then, you know, of course, when the construction is complete, hopefully by the end of July, that's a very optimistic, yeah. We'll just intend and hope for that to happen, but it'll be really interesting to see the change, what that's happened as the construction has gone on. And if you have photos and you want to send them to Reverend Christine, again, her email address is revchris@unityhartford.org. And then beginning on Sunday, July 9th, Reverend Christine and some members of the board will be holding an in-person class on Unity's 5 principles. It will run on 3 consecutive Sundays from noon to 2 p.m., location to be determined as things progress. You do need to pre-register, however, on the website. There's a flyer with more information at the greeters table. If you attend all 3 of the classes, that's Unity's 5 principles, you will be eligible for Unity membership. This class is open to anyone, particularly obviously for those who are looking to pursue membership, but also if you've been a long-time member and just want to sort of have a refresher on these 5 principles, or to come, and it's a great opportunity to discuss your beliefs and sort of ask questions about Unity's basic principles as your own spiritual understanding grows and changes. And with everything that's been going on in our church, and I'm sure in your lives, because change is certainly happening everywhere, this might be a really good time for you to deepen your prayer and meditation service. One really easy, accessible way to do that is to join us for our weekly meditation service on Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. that are held on Facebook. This is a 30-minute meditation, so it's not a lot of your time, but it may make a tremendous impact in your life. It may be immense as you do this repeatedly week after week. So make plans to join us, put it on your calendar. And every month, the first Wednesday of the month focuses on peace, while the other Wednesdays will focus on our monthly affirmation. And that's it for the announcements. So that moves us into our greeting time. If you would please stand, and just stand where you are as we offer each other the Gandhi blessing. And as always, we invite you to really drop into your heart and use this prayer as a real offering to your Unity community, whether they're here or listening online. So if you're able, again, stand, and just as you say the prayer, look around at each other and do it with heart. So let's begin. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your needs.
I hear your needs.
Our wisdom flows from the highest source.
Our wisdom flows from the highest source.
And I salute that source in you.
And I salute that source in you.
Let us work together for unity and peace.
Let us work together for unity and peace.
Amen.
Amen.
And if you would please be seated. would join me now in affirming our statement of faith, which is in your bulletin. Together, let's say, there is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as in my life, God, the good, omnipotence. Amen. And today's daily word is grace. Love that word. And the affirmation is, with joy and gratitude, I welcome grace. The guiding, healing, harmonizing presence and power of God is everywhere present. Divine grace is mine whenever I say yes to this presence within me. I realize any thought that I am unworthy of grace. I release any thought that I am unworthy of grace. Nothing I could do or fail to do would ever disturb my divine identity. Grace need not be earned, nor can it be bought. It is inexhaustible. No matter how much comes my way, I can relax in complete trust that even more will be available as I need it. Grace doesn't just happen to me, it expresses through me. Just as I have been blessed to receive grace when I've needed it, I'm honored to be the conduit through which it flows to someone else, blessing them in a time of need. Yes, everything is for your sake, so that grace, as it extends to more and more people, may increase thanksgiving to the glory of God. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 15. And again, today's daily word is grace, and the affirmation is, with joy and gratitude, I welcome grace. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen. Now welcome Reverend Christine.
I invite our ushers to please come forward. And this is the time in our service when we have the opportunity to experience and express gratitude, love, and prosperity. We know that when we freely and joyfully give, we are opening ourselves up to the abundance of the universe. So today, just take a moment to open your mind and heart to divine guidance, to feel the love and joy-filled blessing of giving. If you're giving by check or cash today, please hold it in your hands. And if you have or will be giving by credit card online, just hold it in your heart and bless it with your love. I would ask that you also hold an intangible blessing in your heart, a blessing for everyone in this Unity community. That could be love or grace, patience, strength, awareness, joy, however you wish to bestow an additional blessing today. Let yourself feel as grateful as you can to God in you as your one true source of all. And then please join me in our offering blessing together. Divine love, flowing as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive, and so it is. Amen.
Something different in your eyes, something honest in the way you speak. Every time you are around me, one look at you and I feel at peace. I see God in you. I know that's not something you go around saying, but I do believe it's true. I see God in you. I wanna say I finally found my strength in the light that shines in you. That's what I see. I see God in you.
song before. It's lovely. Yeah. All right, just trying to locate all my papers. All right. Well, breaking the 10 Commandments is the theme of our Sunday Talk series, and today we're going to be focusing on the 6th and 7th commandment. And as a guide, we're using the book by the same name, authored by Unity minister and teacher Eric Butterworth. Now, last week, someone said to me, I know we're not looking at these commandments literally, but sometimes I wish we were, as it seems easier to follow them literally than metaphysically. And I get that. And I'm sure that is what the apostles also might have thought, since Jesus often talked about the 10 Commandments. And when he did, he usually followed the mention of a particular commandment with an expansive statement that began with, but I say. But I say. Yeah. And it is important to remember that the entire Bible is all about us, all about you. And since we are always growing and evolving, our Bible teachings also grow and evolve. So if we want to use the Bible as a teaching tool, then we must look at it with more an expansive idea. The key to help us unlock the teachings of the Bible is to read it through the metaphysical interpretive lens. Our definition of metaphysics is that which is true pertaining to the inner or spiritual life of every human being, regardless of time, place, or circumstances. When we focus on the inner life or the spiritual, mystical essence, then the Bible becomes a true guide and can assist us in our evolution rather than just being a dead book written by a lot of ancient dead men, right? I mean, that's how many of us might look at the Bible. So if you've not watched the last 2 Sunday talks, I encourage you to do so, as they'll help you attain a more expansive view of these commandments. In this series, we are endeavoring to crack open each commandment and seek to understand its essence, its deeper spiritual meaning. And I've heard from many of you that your understandings are being challenged and that you are even enjoying it. So let's keep going. The 6th commandment is thou shalt not kill or commit murder. And here is a commandment that Jesus used his famous "but I say" to your teaching. So he says, you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment. But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother or sister shall be in danger of the judgment. And whoever says to his brother or sister, Raka, or insults them, shall be in danger of the council. And whoever says, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Boy, am I in trouble. Anyone else? Yeah. Woo. Yeah. So what seemed like a fairly straightforward command, don't kill or murder anyone, has now taken on a more expansive and, yes, a more difficult meaning. This commandment has now expanded into the destructive tendencies of our mind, our thinking. Unity teacher Ed Rabel provides a very mystical viewpoint of this command by saying, in truth, capital T, we can't kill. We can't take a life. He says you can't take a life because you can't give life. All life comes from the infinite process that we call God. We give birth to forms. And we can destroy a form, but not the spiritual power of life. He sees this as a cosmic truth rather than a command. Really interesting. And yet, even Reverend Rabel says that we can metaphysically kill when we refuse someone safe passage in our mind or in our heart. I believe we all want to be in the flow of life, of giving and receiving abundant blessings, and yet we often frustrate that flow of life. And one of the ways that we do that is to harm or kill someone with our thoughts. Reverend Butterworth writes about all the exceptions that we have created about this command. Thou shalt not kill. No. Well, I didn't kill the animal. No. I just like eating animals. I didn't pull the switch on the electric chair. They did. I didn't kill that insect, that electrical device, or pollutants did. And now I didn't actually kill or try to harm that person. I just thought about it. And look at that. They got their just results. Yeah. There is so much killing in our country, and especially with guns, right? Each time we refuse to do something about it, the killing also injures each one of us. Every act of killing adds on, and we become even more of a killing nation, a killing consciousness. We add on to our national consciousness of violence. And where does that killing action come from? It comes from within each one of us, making it okay to kill or to respond to violence with violence. I don't have a remedy for this. Yes, tighter gun laws would help, but that can't be the only answer. Reverend Butterworth writes, when will we learn to wage peace as relentlessly as we wage war? We are also easily triggered these days. We're triggered to defend ourselves or to strike back at some supposed threat. And we see it every day. The author continues reminding us that it is our mind. No matter that you are angry or bitter about something that happened to you, if it happens in you, it is due to your reaction. And saying that they triggered me does not let you off the hook. Personally, I often call on this denial and affirmation from Unity author Dr. Emily Cady in her book, Lessons in Truth. There is nothing in all the universe for me to fear, for greater is he, the divine, that is within me than he that is in the world. There is nothing for me to fear, for the God of my soul is greater than anything out here in the physical world. Yeah. And then I can breathe again, not be reactive, and give that person or situation safe passage within me. This week, crack open this commandment by getting into the attitude of respecting and protecting your thoughts about all the other beings, no matter what outer things may be going on. And of course, remember to give yourself safe passage in your thoughts as you too evolve and grow. Now, that's not enough. We're moving on to the seventh commandment. And that seventh commandment, thou shalt not commit adultery. Well, there we just stepped into a whole other place, didn't we? Yeah. Again, this does seem straightforward, if not a bit old-fashioned, right? But what can we find when we crack open this commandment and perceive the spiritual or metaphysical understanding? Let's first take a moment in the literal. Let's look at the word adultery. It stems from the word pollute, or to adulterate. To adulterate literally means rendering something poorer in quality by adding another substance, typically an inferior one. or to weaken or lessen impurity by the addition of an inferior substance or element. Literally, to commit adultery is a warning against sexual misconduct within the bounds of matrimony. So adultery is about weakening the quality of the marriage by breaking your wedding vows. It's about being dishonest or simply giving in to your physical desires without taking responsibility for how that might affect your marriage or the person to whom you said you would be forever true. Now, it's interesting that Reverend Butterworth talks about, well, if you both agree to it in the marriage, then it's not adultery. So, very broad-minded of Reverend Butterworth, I thought. Yeah. But whenever I hear of this commandment, I think of former President Jimmy Carter. Do you remember? He took a lot of ridicule for saying that when a married person lusts after someone who they are not married to, they have already committed adultery. And guess what? That was exactly what Jesus said in one of his "but I say to you" statements. He says, "But I say to you that everyone who looks at a person lustfully has already committed adultery in their heart." Yeah. And to paraphrase one of Eric Butterworth's sayings, what happens within you is far more important than what happens to you. You see, it's all about us. Each one of us. Deborah loves that. It's all about what we are thinking and feeling and doing. How accountable are we to ourselves? Where is our integrity? In the Revealing Word, spiritual integrity is said to be that quality of your conscience which makes you unswerving in your conformity to the divine standard. And so now you go, well, what's the divine standard? Right? That's your Christ potential. It is your expression of God in thought, word, and action. So we commit adultery anytime we pollute or weaken that God expression. So now we moved out of sexual misconduct into a very expansive, different way of looking at this. Anytime we dilute the God idea within us, for we are the very expression of the divine when we choose to be. For me, I try to be aware of my intentions. Are my intentions pure? Is there purity in my heart? And while it is not always easy to be self-aware, it is necessary if we want to live in integrity, if we want to live honestly. The author writes that you shall not adulterate reality by judging by appearances. You shall not pollute that which is pure and holy, your Christ potential, by seeing through a mirror darkly. So we are being asked to clean our mirror so we can be more self-aware and live in integrity. And even Reverend Butterworth writes that doing this is a tall order. On the last page of this chapter, he gives us this beautiful and positive affirmation that I'd like to read to you. Make this commitment and often. I will no longer commit adultery. I will not add other limiting aspects to the truth. I will judge righteous judgment instead of judging by appearances. I will keep the purity of my consciousness through speaking and acting on positive ideas and creative images. And I have faith that this integrity of consciousness will lead me to integrity in all my relations and affairs. This week, let's go forward living a life of integrity and purity in our thoughts, words, and actions, giving every living being safe passage in our thoughts, affirming that the God power of spiritual life and love is alive within everyone, even us. Namaste. And now I always need to remind myself, with God, all things are possible. So, we are going to form a circle of sorts. And together we will sing our Unity Peace song along with Carolyn, and then we will say our prayer of protection, and then followed by a final song. So please rise as you are able and form any type of circle, rectangular thing. You're not going to hold hands with that.
Look at that. So far, so good. Wonderful. All right, let's take a deep breath. And together we will sing our Unity Peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And we can clap.
Alrighty, if you wish to remain standing, which it appears you all do, let's say together our prayer for protection. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Carefully make your way back to your seats. Y'all did that very well. And as we bring our service to a close, Reverend Christine will turn off the Christ candle. And as she does, we can just know within ourselves and affirm that the Christ light within us can never be dimmed, for we are always one with the divine. So it is.
the last several weeks, we have been sharing the beautiful prayer cards we received from Unity of Kansas City North. And those personally written notes by that congregation to us have been very comforting and supporting. And perhaps some of you might remember that when we were the authors of comfort and support to another congregation. Back in 2018, we sent prayer-filled notes of comfort and support to the Pittsburgh Tree of Life Synagogue that was a target of anti-Semitic terrorist attack, killing 11 people and wounding 6, including several Holocaust survivors. Yeah. It was the deadliest attack on the Jewish community in the United States. And then back in 2019, one of our Unity churches in Michigan, Unity Center in Lansing, suffered a major fire that forced them to eventually seek another building for their church. To those two communities, we wrote and mailed notes of comfort and support for their congregations. And with that memory in my mind, it was so heartwarming to receive the notes from Unity Kansas City North, a reminder of the cycle of giving and receiving. And now it is again time to keep that cycle going. A week after the burglary and arson in our church, the same person did the same crime to a neighboring church, the Congregational Church in Eastford, Connecticut, which was organized in 1778, and the church building, which was completely destroyed by arson, was dedicated in 1829. They are currently meeting in a school gym, and I'm sure that the congregation would truly appreciate prayer-filled notes of comfort and support. This Sunday and next Sunday, we're asking you to take one or two cards that will be passed around shortly by Catherine and Michael, and prayerfully print a short note from your heart to theirs. Doesn't have to be anything long. I mean, it could just be, let me show you what they look like here. There we go. It says, Congregational Church of Eastford, Unity of Greater Hartford holds you in prayer affirming. So if you have any difficulty in figuring out what to write, we have lots of prayer chaplains here. All our prayer chaplains, please raise your hand so we can see you as a resource. All right. And is you're just looking for a couple words, okay? Or even a biblical phrase. And that would be lovely. So Catherine, if you could take one of those baskets, and Michael, if you could come up and take one of them, and just as we finish out the rest of the service today, just take one or two. They have a very big congregation, all right? So I'd love it if everyone could do two. And you don't have to do them today. You could take this and bring it back next Sunday. And we're going to be collecting them next Sunday and mailing them off to Pastor Mike Moran. And if you are with us online, we would like to also include your note. So simply mail it to me. You know, even if it's just one word, just mail it to me. And we'll get it onto that note card. Mail it to me, email it to me at revchris@unityhartford.org. And it'll be placed in one of those cards, and we will make sure that it gets to our neighbors in Eastford. And so I'm asking all of us to open our hearts to our neighbors in Eastford and bless them with positive, life-affirming prayers. So remember, the deadline for the written prayers, and we encourage you to write several, is next Sunday. So thank you. We also have a packet of information about this church and the Worldwide Unity Movement that we'd like to give to anyone who is here for the first time. And if this is your first time visiting us, just raise your hand, and one of our, right up here, and Daniel, and right there in the second table too. So two of them. And in that packet, you're going to find information about this church, about the Unity Movement, and and a card to fill out if you'd like to be on our newsletter. And Gail has it. Thank you, Gail. Thank you both for being with us today, for being the blessing of you to us. And also, if there's anyone online who would like to receive this package of information, just send an email to us. This week, you're going to send it to me, okay, because Tony's on vacation. And you're going to send it to revchris@unityhartford.org, and we'll get that package in the mail to you. And finally, thank you to everyone who helped today, and special thanks to our prayer chaplains for holding us in sacred prayer. And we have some prayer chaplains here today who would be delighted and honored to pray one-on-one with you. And with those two prayer chaplains, please stand up. Thank you, Kate, and thank you, Louise. They will be, if you go out the door here and go to your left, they have some chairs set up, and they would love to pray with you one-on-one. So please take advantage of that. And if you're saying, I don't know what to do, all you need to do is go up to them and say, would you please pray with me? And they'll take it from there. And, you know, one of the things that we sometimes think is that that we seek prayer when we or a loved one are facing a challenge, right? That's when we often go, oh, I need prayer. But what about a prayer of gratitude for all the blessings and joys in your life? That's another wonderful way to pray with someone and to multiply. Gratitude is a multiplying factor. So when you pray with gratitude in your heart, you have a prayer of gratitude, whatever you're grateful for becomes multiplied. So think about that as you consider a prayer today. We also have in the back table that's right across from the greeters table, we have a prayer chaplain table. And on that table is a prayer box. And you can fill out a prayer card and put that in the prayer box. Those two are prayed on by our prayer chaplains. You can also light a candle, light a prayer candle, and take an affirmation home with you. So I invite you to take advantage of all the prayer blessings that are here for you today and always. And there are many who help with today's service. Thank you to all of you, especially our worship assistant, Catherine. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. And our audio and iPad tech team, Julie and Angela, the all-woman team. Yes. Our greeters, Maria, and was there anyone with you? Lois. Oh, all right, the big boss. Yes. Lois. Our choir of Wendy and Kathy and Liston and Rob and Deborah. Big choir today. Thank you. And our hospitality team with Jocelyn and Georgine, thank you so much. And I know there's always people helping us, so consider yourself thanked. And we also want to thank everyone who can stay and help clean up after fellowship. And of course, thanks to our wonderful music director, Carolyn. What's our final song today?
Oh, it's delightful. Our final song, I'm excited to sing this with you. Our final song is Imagine by John Lennon. You should have words if you'd like to join me. If you just want to listen, that's okay. But if you want to join, please do. All right? A wonderful affirmation. Nothing to kill. everyone for joining us today, both here in the room and online in spirit. Don't forget we have meditation service available on Facebook on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. It's a half an hour. And we also hope to see you next Sunday right here in person or on Facebook at 10:30 a.m. for the celebration service. And I wish you a week full of beautiful and positive thoughts and blessings. And
Just a quick announcement, I'm going to put this basket where you can drop your prayers, just right on this back table.
just drop those prayers.
Drop it on.
Just drop them on. Yes, thank you so much. All right, we'll see you next Sunday.